So let's quickly move on to victim number 4. Just to recap, victim number 1 was Stephanie Van Groll. She was the one that came forward. She was the one that Ryan Foley interviewed Ken Kratz in his office about, as a result of Stephanie Van Groll situation being exposed. A year later, because the DOJ had tried to sit on it and hide it, we've so far, as I say, we've had Stephanie Van Groll, we've had then Maria Ruskovich was the second victim, and then most recently Dawn King. So this is victim number 4, who wanted to remain completely anonymous, and so she is referred to in the Wisconsin DOJ report part 2 on the convoluted Brian site. She is referred to simply as a confidential informant, or as everybody knows, a CI. Now, this is going way back to 1999, when she had contact with Ken Kratz. They met at his office because the Sweaty Prize was prosecuting her husband for domestic abuse. Not long after meeting at the office, there's always a pattern here, isn't there? Not long after meeting at the office, the messages started. Would a girl like you, started messaging with, a girl like you wouldn't be attracted to a guy like me, bald and overweight. The funny thing is, Ken, it's not so much appearance all the time. You could be the best looking guy in the world, but if your character is your sort of character, women are just going to be turned off by you. It's what's in there that really counts, little bit of advice there for you, Ken. But of course, this confidential informant was worried again about the case of the prosecution of the husband. Although what she was more concerned about was the custody of her kids. That's what she was particularly worried about, and therefore she didn't want to offend Kratz at the time when the texting and the phone conversations. This is the first time we have reference to not just texting but also phone conversations, which as I said, I've always suspected that was going to be the case. So when they talked on the phone and through messages, Ken Kratz loved talking about women being submissive, about various sexual scenarios. But he made it quite clear that he knew the system. He had friends in, I'm going to say high places, but low places as well. He knew the system. He's the figurehead of the prosecution community in Calumet County. And he made it clear that Calumet County was not a very favourable place for females to get custody of their children, but that he had influence. They had one meeting at the CI's house, and she doesn't want to go into any great detail further than the fact that he started making advances by putting his hand up her skirt, but that's as far as we get to know about that. But basically, she just had to sit there and listen to Kratz going on about his various sexual fantasies, sweaty fantasies. He even offered to send her to Chicago to, quote, learn how to be a submissive. Now, the contact continued both during the prosecution of the husband and after that. And Ken Kratz, during the prosecution of the husband, knew that he shouldn't be talking about these sort of things with the confidential informant, and said that, you know, they have to try and sort of keep it quiet, as it were. Ken Kratz, well, we find out something else. We find out a little bit about the layout of the Ken Kratz household, because he asked her about her thoughts on being videotaped during the various scenarios that he had in mind. But that would only be for his private viewing in the room in which only he goes, and where he keeps many more videos. But then, rather bizarrely, asks if it's okay if his son sees them. Make of that what you will. As I say, throughout the conversations, texting, phoning, he made it clear that he knew that he shouldn't be talking that way. And as I might say, remember, this is back in 1999. This is 10 years before Stephanie Van Grohl. As I say, he knew that he shouldn't be talking like that. The CI was constantly trying to deviate him back to talking about how he was going to influence her getting the custody of the kids. But he would always say, going back down that road, in other words, turning the conversation back onto his fantasies, which is we've seen constantly, haven't we? We've heard about the fact that he constantly loves to talk about himself and his amazing life experiences. Yes, I can imagine that they're all videotaped and in that private room of his. Eventually, of course, the CI did come forward, albeit anonymously, A, to expose Ken Kratz, and B, and I like the way that that this was termed, the verbiage, if you like. It was to show Stephanie Van Grohl that she was not alone. A little bit of solidarity there, saying, you know, don't feel bad about what happened to you. He's been doing this for at least 10 years, if not longer. Anyway, so as I say, that's victim number 4, the confidential informant. I believe we've got next victim is a Susan Sorensen, if memory serves me right. We'll get on to that one fairly soon, but we're building up towards, once we've gone through all of the victims, then we really get to see some interesting things, particularly the final decision by the Office of Lawyer Regulation, and some of the findings that they have. Anyway, plenty to look forward to, and catch you again soon. Bye for now.